Hello, all the people.
I should probably adjust my microphone.
Oh, yeah, let's get you one of those.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I love you. Won't you tell me your name?
My name's Kimbra.
Greetings and salutations.
The chat was like going like crazy, and Matt's been like running around grabbing stuff.
You know what? It's been, we were back to work today, got home yesterday. We had an eventful yesterday too. We did a lot of stuff. We didn't just come straight home from the cruise. And then today I had to teach camp. So it was a long day. And then Kimber had to have steak. So
Kimber had to have steak. I'm gonna, Reno, if you knock over something, you're gonna be in trouble.
Hello, Facebook user, whoever you are.
It is. I actually went onto Facebook. It's Roddy.
Hello, Roddy. Hey.
Yeah.
By the way, Roddy, let me just say, I'm a big fan of the work that you do. If you guys haven't checked out Roddy Woodworking over on Facebook, he does some cool stuff. And my grandpa was really into woodworking, and he wasn't doing the kind of cool stuff you were doing, but he did cool stuff, and it just makes me think of that, which is a good thing. That's like, take that as a compliment.
I want to say hello to everybody else that's in here, because although Roddy is great, so is everyone else. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Meg. Hello, Adam. And I think I covered it. Meg said Kimber deserves steak, and I think she's right.
I mean,
you know what?
She bought it, so
yeah. We went on this cruise. I didn't have steak once on this cruise.
Hey, there's Gina.
Hey, Gina. Oh, Meg, thank you. It is a great background, isn't it?
Oh, here we go.
But that can't be the whole conversation. So I accept it now, but we need to actually do the podcast.
Wow,
I mean,
you're actually okay. Yeah,
what?
I was just surprised you were like, okay, I understand. My backdrop is awesome.
Stacy wants to see your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see his boxers, too.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. You may have seen more of me in that last video. Yes, it's all the pop you into words there.
Your chair is bumping my chair.
You don't like me bumping your chair?
Hello, Billy.
Hey, let's bump chairs. Hello, Billy.
You want to bump chairs?
So we're going to have a fun show tonight, and we're just going to talk about the cruise, and we have some pictures to show you of artwork on the cruise and just some other random stuff. And yeah, we'll probably interact a little bit more with the comments, I think, tonight than normal, maybe.
You got a boogie.
No, thanks. Thank you.
Still there. I just don't want you to like blow and then end up on me. Hello, Peggy. Thank you for joining.
Is it gone? I don't want to have like a booger on my nose this entire podcast.
It's gone.
That's the kind of class you're dealing with.
I think it's probably
here at Fintastic Cruising. It's not on you. It's on Reno.
Reno's over there licking his arms.
Yeah, why do you think he's licking his arms?
Ew.
Yes, we do booger jokes on this show.
All right, for those of you who are just joining
thanks, Meg.
Or have never joined us before, or join us every time and just really like to hear us talk, this is the way it works. We're about to start the podcast itself. It goes for approximately an hour. We're mostly going to talk podcasty, but this one might be a little more interactive. We'll see how it goes. After our hour podcast, we'll roll the credits, and then we'll chit-chat some more.
There you go.
That was kind of cartoony. That's not the word. Customer, what's it called? Commercially.
Billy's just here for the booger joke, so it's all good. It's all good.
Are you ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
How do I do this? There's so many pictures, I can't even find it.
Come with me, we're going on a fantastic cruise. Pick your destination with news, tips, and reviews. But here is an item you might not have thought of. All of the things under the water. Nature surrounds us with elegant features. You can't go on a cruise and not see the creatures. So let's make some magic, let's get ecstatic, instantly classic, maybe romantic. The wildlife around you, cinematic on your Fintastic cruise.
Bon Beanie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fintastic Cruising. I'm Matt.
And I'm Kimbra.
And hey, hello, welcome, which is what Bon Beanie means. I'm even wearing my Poppy Aventu shirt today.
I'm wearing a Fintastic cruising shirt.
There you go. Well, I don't know. I think we should just get right into it today. Do you want to do the little commercial first?
We don't have to. I can do it later.
Okay. So we just got off of a cruise.
We did?
And it was a very short cruise. It was a 3-night cruise on the Holland America Rotterdam, as I like to say, Rotterdam.
You've never said that, and I hope you never say it like that again.
And so we just wanted to give you our thoughts on the Rotterdam and do our cruise creature and stuff. But
here's what I'm going to say about this ship before we really get into it. This is a damn nice ship.
Wow. Language. This is a family show. My mom might be watching.
I'm talking about the Rotterdam. Jeez.
So, spoiler alert. Let's just put this out there. Okay. This is a review-ish of the Rotterdam, but let's just put this out there. Holland America really treated us, and not just us, a lot of other travel advisors to this cruise, and they really wined and dined us, I would say. Really treated us wonderfully. With that being said, we are going to try and give you our unbiased feedback of the ship and what we think of Holland America from our experience on this particular cruise. And just to let you know right up front, so that you're not like, waiting till the end or something. We overall absolutely 100% loved this ship. And I will say that I came away with a more positive, not that I had any negatives about Holland America. I mean, there were a couple things that was kind of like, I don't know if it's a cruise line for me. But I will say that I came away from this whole cruise on the whole thinking more of Holland America than I did. And again, not to say that I thought badly of Holland America, but they improved their standing. So just to get that out of the way, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you don't have to now, but please do, because it's going to be fun.
So I also want to say, because you put it out there that Holland America did treat us to this wonderful cruise, even if we paid full price for this cruise, I think my opinion would absolutely still be the same.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the amount that we paid for this cruise.
Yeah. We're going to give you our honest opinion of this cruise no matter what. So, and I would hope that they would expect that. And, but yeah, it's really going to be pretty good. So, okay.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the beginning.
So
once upon a time, there was a girl named Kimbra and a boy named Matt. I couldn't figure out.
Did you say math?
I couldn't figure out if I was going to say Matthew or Matt, and it just came out as math. That's a mess.
Kimbra and Math. Sorry.
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning. This was, and so some of the things that we experienced might not be the same as a regular Holland America cruise, but I think most of it probably is. It was a lower attended cruise for that reason. It was 1,200 people on this cruise, which I think was 30% capacity or something like that. Didn't he say 30%? I don't remember what.
I think he said it was 40%. 40%, and the the maximum is 60 right now.
Okay.
So it was 40.
So it was 1,200 people. This is not a huge ship, but it's a decent sized ship. They call it like a mid-range ship, mid-sized ship. And I think that's an accurate description. And so 1,200 people on that made for no crowds at all. No crowds, not a single crowd at all. I'm not even going to acknowledge that
I
background
know.
comment.
I'm not
Anyway,
either. I just threw it up there to let you know that I saw it.
yes.
But we've got focus here.
Yes. So basically, I don't know if we were supposed to get tested, but we were under the impression we were supposed to get tested for COVID before this cruise.
Yes.
So we got the antigen test. Obviously, it was negative. Then we got to the port and they tested us again. Now, I don't know if that was intentional that they would test us twice. It seemed like a bit of the Department of Redundancy department, but I mean, I was okay with that because I already feel pretty comfortable right now with that whole COVID thing, and having everybody tested at least once and probably a lot of them tested twice. Like I felt very, very, very safe on this ship. You know, we have our friend Adam, who I think is in here. Yeah, Adam's in here right now, who's cruised a bunch of times. We've cruised a bunch of times. We know a lot of people have cruised a bunch of times. And on the whole, it's been a much safer experience, it seems like, than just living your regular life, especially in the state of Florida. So, so hats off to cruising for doing a darn good job of of keeping things safe. And despite all the negative media about cruising, that's, you know, hogswoggle. I don't know. I just made that up.
So I want to back up just a little bit, because although
Adam says they only tested us twice, so we did not need masks.
Oh, okay.
Which we didn't. We didn't. The only time they required masks was when we were on the gangway. That was it. They recommended masks, but really,
well, and while in the
people
terminal.
wore them. Yes, very few people wore them. The ones that did, hey, that's completely fine. I have no problem with that. But yeah, so it was very. I forgot. It was so weird because we've gotten to this point now where it used to be we always had the mask on hand, and we wore a mask a lot even when we weren't required to. But at this point, we even feel safe doing that. And then it was like there was a couple of times when we needed a mask and we didn't have a mask, and we're like, well, this is a different scenario.
What was actually kind of funny is, as far as masks go, when we were getting ready to get the tender to Half Moon Cay, they went over the intercom and they were like, make sure you have these things with you, blah, 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 blah. And mask was one of them.
Yeah. And
the way that it worked is we kind of went to an area and then they took us down to the gangway. But there were, crew standing there, and I went to one of them and I said, they just said that we need masks and we don't have our mask with us. Do we need our mask? And then he was like, oh, I don't know. Let me go get a box. And then they were like, okay, let's go. And I said to one of the other ones, hey, they said we need our masks. We don't have our masks. The guy just said he went to go get some. And they're like, they have them down in the gangway. So they took us down. And it was fine, but it was kind of weird that nobody else really thought about it, I guess. Or they didn't speak up.
That's where I think that's just kind of where we're at right now, which is a good sign.
But I do want to back up a little bit. For those of you that did not read the title of this or are just randomly jumping in, we went on a 3-night cruise on the Holland America Rotterdam.
Yep. Fort Lauderdale, Half Moon Cay, day at sea, back to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, just had to throw it out because we didn't say that at all.
Stacy says that the CDC, I saw this too, that they lowered the threat level again for cruising. Yes. Yay, cruising. That's all I really wanted to say about that. I don't want to harp on that because hopefully we can just stop talking about that soon and forget about it. But anyway, the check-in process, again, it was a very limited capacity, but it was super fast, super efficient. Port Everglades, not my favorite port to drive into, but I do like driving in Fort Lauderdale more than I like driving in Miami. The port itself, I mean, I don't know. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
I was able to figure out where I was supposed to go, which is more than I can say for Miami.
That's true. That is true. The inside the terminal itself was, I don't know. It was okay. We weren't in there very long, so who cares? And honestly, like I was thinking about this because we were kind of like nitpicking it and stuff, and then I'm like, who cares? Like you're in this for like an hour or two, and then you're on the ship. Like you can put me in whatever as long as it's like not physically uncomfortable. I don't really care. So
we actually ended up on the ship about 2.5 hours earlier
Right.
than
Yes.
we were scheduled to be, which
Yeah.
was nice.
Virgin. Just saying.
We
Which ended up 3.5 hours later than we were supposed to be. Anyway,
we drove over to Fort Lauderdale the morning of. So Thursday morning, we got up at 5:30 a.m. and decided
before the time change. So it was like 6:30 today.
Yeah, right. So we got up at 5:30 because we're like, it's a 4-hour drive. Let's give ourselves some extra time. We ran into almost no traffic. So
Right.
we got there at like 9:30-ish.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and our check-in time was 2:20. So we had some time to spare.
Yes.
So we went to the dive shop and we kind of wasted some time. We went for an early-ish lunch and then Adam texted us and said, get there early because they're doing testing. So
Right.
we finished lunch and we rushed over, and we didn't really need to rush, but we ended up getting on
We
2
got on the
hours
ship,
early.
Who cares?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we thought we were going to have to like wait a real long time and stuff. And it was like super
No.
quick.
Walked right on the ship.
Yeah.
A room was ready. They're like, your room's ready. Like, they practically met us in the room with our luggage, with our big suitcase. The dive bags came a little bit later, and again, like, I don't know, like, I would say that they did a very good job, and you may not have that same experience if you're on a full capacity ship. It may be a little bit longer, but I think that would be acceptable. Like, I guess what I can take from this is that under the circumstances, they did a really outstanding job, which makes me think that they would do a really outstanding job under other circumstances for that situation.
Yeah. I also want to mention the new app that a lot of cruise lines are going to Verifly.
Yes.
So we got an email saying that they were trying out Verifly on this, and they were hoping to, put it into place for all cruises going forward. And when we got there, they had a line for people that did Verifly and then a line for people who didn't. We tried to use it and it wouldn't accept our vaccine cards and test results.
Right. So we both tried. And I mean, we're not like claiming to be like the IT customer of the year, but we're competent technology wise. So I feel like there's some potential there. I know people have commented about how well it's worked in other situations. And so I think that for cruising, it's just a new thing.
Yeah.
They haven't worked out all the bugs.
We didn't try and upload our documents like 20 different times. We did it once, and when it said not accepted, we were like, okay,
you know what? They're just gonna
they'll do it there.
We're not going to worry about it. And we didn't need to. It was so quick and painless. And yeah, so we got on the ship. And
we have a question.
Oh,
Stacy wants to know if the gangway was a steep walk to get onto the ship. It was not. It was actually less steep than I think any other, and it was like short. Like, I feel like we didn't have to zigzag.
No, it was very short.
We just
went very direct.
Yeah.
It would be really good if you were saying a walker, a wheelchair.
So Kevin said eating lunch before getting on the ship is a lot like taking sand to the beach.
Right,
yes,
I know,
but we thought we had 3 more hours to wait.
You're not wrong.
So
you're not wrong, Kevin.
If we would have known that we were going to go straight to the ship right after, we wouldn't have done that.
No, we were like, we have time to kill, and we thought it was going to be a while, so we were like, let's eat at this place, and it'll be fine, and whatever. It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine. But yes, that is a very valid point. So okay, so we get on the ship, and I don't know. I mean, we didn't take a lot of pictures inside the ship. There are some really good we did the room tours. There are some really good ship tours on YouTube already of this ship, and I would encourage you to just Google YouTube search. Google owns YouTube, right? Anyway, just search for those if you want to see this ship, because those already exist and they're very well done. There's a few of them. So but here's what I would say about this ship. It is a very classy looking ship. I don't know. It was a lot of like earth tones, I would say, kind of decor. It was like classy without being gaudy. But it was still kind of, it wasn't so like modern that you felt like, like you were meant to actually sit in the furniture version, enjoy the ship. It was just a really beautiful ship.
I was gonna say this ship is. I don't think I've ever used the word beautiful for a ship before. Like, there's a lot of ships that like look really cool and are great, but this ship, beautiful, I think is the best word to describe this ship.
Yeah. So so day one, we did like a fun scavenger hunt thing that had us going. We went to look at the different rooms, which if you've gone to our YouTube channel, then you'll see that we did actually 6 different room tours, including
ours.
our room that we had. But then we did 5 other room tours, which they had open for us to see, which was really cool. And then we went around and we had to do all these different fun activities that were just really introducing us to the ship and the brand in general. And I'm really glad that we did that, because it really did give us a feel for kind of the ship. Like, we didn't see everything on that run, but we went to all the main spots and we did things like the one bar, for example. One of the first stops we went to, you go to this bar. It's called the Half Moon Bar, which is I will say my favorite bar on the ship.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Fortune Teller and the Alchemy Bar ish. Not quite as cool as either of those, but it's still cooler than bars on other ships I've been on. So they had a thing where you would smell the ingredients of these different drinks at one table. And what else? There was they had all their drinks had a table with they have 4 or 5 drinks that they highlighted.
There were 3
tables.
3 drinks.
3 drinks. Okay, so 3 drinks that they were highlighting.
Yeah. I was reading this, so I don't know what you actually said. But the point of the tables were to smell.
One was smell.
We smelled them all.
Were they all smell?
Well, you didn't taste anything. We weren't allowed.
Well, they were bringing around samples.
Well, yeah. For after.
But you had to guess what the smells were.
Yeah, you had to guess what the smell is
right.
based on. Right. Yeah, that went into the drink. What you just said.
And then they
had samples of all of them that we could try.
Yes, and then they had another section set up where it was like a smoky drink, which was a gin-based drink, which I'm not really a gin guy, but it wasn't just gin. But they basically have this thing. It looks like a bong, and they put cherry wood in it, and they have a little torch thing, so they burn
I was supposed to look and see how much one of those was for you.
And they smoke into this bottle, and they mix the liquor up that they've already mixed liquor, and then they mix it up. But anyway, it was really good, and it reminded me of something you would get the whole presentation. Everything was something like you'd see at the Fortune Teller.
Yeah,
which is really fun and cool. And we also had the drink package on this was included.
So I'm going to back up real quick just because we have a question that I can't actually answer right now.
Okay.
So Todd wants to know how many agents versus normal paying customers. Curious if we experienced normal HAL American cruise clientele. There were no other customers. This was specifically Holland America treating travel advisors to their product to help teach us about it, to sell their product, to tell us all the things that they had so that we can tell you about it. So it was travel advisors only.
Yep.
And like Matt said, we had the drink package. That is something that they provided for us as well.
Because we don't normally get the drink package. And honestly, even with the drink package, we didn't drink that much. But it was nice because you could go and have this drink. I had, I think 2 or 3 of those smoky drinks throughout the cruise, and, and enjoyed some of the other cocktails that they had at the different bars and stuff like that. But this one was I just thought it was kind of cool. The library it looks like a Borders store. I mean, obviously it was cool though. It
wasn't like a normal library.
No, it felt like a Borders to me. But
kind of bookshoppy.
Yeah. But that was kind of cool. What else do we have to do on that particular scavenger?
We had the gratitude tree. So the theme of this cruise was attitude of gratitude, which is I have a lot of gratitude for Holland America for doing this for us.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we did the We had chocolate covered strawberries.
Right. We had to answer some questions. It was just teaching us about different things about,
Yeah, there's
from a travel agent's perspective, as
about
well
like
as just
booking
about the ship.
groups.
Yeah.
Um,
So, here's a little thing. So Unc D is asking, if you're not an alcohol person and don't go to bars, is there a good bit of things to do on? Well, that just reminded me, Dan, that one thing that we found out on this cruise, they gave us the drink package. There's 2 drink packages. One is the one we got, which is the kind of the base level one, and the other one is the elite one, which is $5 more a day. So, they have a limit on how many drinks, which, Carnival does that, 15 drinks. But they also had a price limit, like a cap of $11, which is fine. I mean, most of the drinks are under $11, Royal Caribbean. Anyway, so I just jab it. Anyway, but what we didn't know, and I don't think Carnival does this with their drink packages, but I could be wrong, is that any drink you got dinged off one of those 15. So like I got fresh greens orange juice, and if you got a cappuccino, if you got
a Coke,
those all count off of your 15 drinks. I've always thought that Carnival did the 15 drink thing because they didn't want to deal with crazy drunk people, which I was like, respect. But that's not what's going on here. They're just like, nope, 15 drinks and cha-ching, cha-ching. So there you go. There's the little bit of honest.
Yeah. Now that's not the case for their higher drink package.
$5 more a day, which is not.
And
if you have a 7-night cruise, that's
just alcoholic
$35
beverages
more
for that
total.
15.
That's not a lot. So.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting because that was something that I didn't actually realize.
And if you were to get a drink that was above $11, you wouldn't just pay the difference. You have to pay for the whole drink.
Yes. But to answer your question, Dan, absolutely 100% there is stuff to do on the ship. Now, is this ship a good ship to take kids on? No, it's just not. They have a kids area thing, but it's not. There's no water slides. This is not a ship that's built for kids. It's a ship that's built for adults, and it can accommodate a senior adult, but it's also a good ship for middle-aged adults, and even I think for the right person, young adults. They have a lot of music venues on this ship, and the music, it was a lot of live music, and although it wasn't really our thing and it was way too loud for our taste, but it was good. It was quality music. So if you like music, there's stuff for you to do.
They even had signs like in the area that was like, please be quiet, performance in session.
Well, that was when they were doing, and we didn't listen to that, but they were doing like classical music.
Yeah.
So they also have that. Now that's more my thing. Like I don't mind listening to loud music. Obviously, I'm an old punk rock guy, but I don't like listening to loud music that I can't hear the person sitting this close to me when I'm trying to like just hang out. Like if I'm there just to see a band, that's one thing, but I don't anyway. But the point is there was fun music. They have the BB King and they have the rock and roll, and they played
the billboard on board, the dueling pianos.
Yes,
that was very cool.
That was cool.
We didn't spend a lot of time with the dueling pianos, but I love dueling pianos.
One of the problems with this cruise is that it was a 3-night cruise. And as Adam said repeatedly, you just can't do everything. There was a lot to do on the ship that we did not but we saw bits and pieces of that were really cool. The dueling pianos was, it from what we saw and heard, it was a very quality show. And I think it would have been really neat. Here's what Holland America does that's different than most other cruise lines. Maybe not like Princess. I don't know about Celebrity, but they do, and we missed this because we were doing the painting thing, but they do things like lecture series that are cultural and that are about the ecology of different areas. Obviously, for like somebody like Kimbra and myself, this is really cool. And I think somebody like Dan out there would really appreciate that as well, because it's educational. That's the advantage of going on a cruise that's catered to older adults, is they realize that there are, this is a demographic that gets enough people that actually want to still learn stuff that we can benefit from that. One of the coolest shows I've ever been to on a cruise that we went to was a BBC show, and it was called, I'm going to mess it up, so you just say it.
7 Worlds, One Planet.
7 Worlds, One Planet. They have in their main theater beautiful, huge three triple screens, and bright, vibrant colors. So their BBC did their BBC Earth show and all that. So they gave them clips, and they did a little bit of narration, just a little bit of narration, and they highlight all 7 of the continents on the planet. And so it'll explain, this is North America, and this happened, and this happens, and this is going to happen. And then you see this play out very well. It's BBC Earth, so it's amazing footage. And then they have live classical music playing, and it goes along to the thing. So cool. It was really cool. I really super enjoyed that.
What's kind of funny about that is you weren't real excited to go.
I was iffy on it. I didn't know if it was just going to be like some BBC footage and random classical music, but it was really put together in an educational way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would have been okay with just listening to classical music and watching that footage, but at the same time, I'm like, is this footage I've seen before? Because I've seen the BBC.
Yeah, it was nice that it was definitely new, because at some points they showed like the filming happening.
Sorry, Todd's making a comment that I'm not even going to repeat this.
No, don't. They showed the people filming the stuff, so filming of the filming, and they were wearing masks. So it's definitely new footage.
Yeah.
Because
I had seen I had seen some of the footage before,
but some of it's obviously new.
Yeah, but it was good footage. It was, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, they showed, and this is why I've seen it before, they showed fruit bats in Australia flying down to get water, and the Johnston's freshwater crocodiles like nabbing them as they came down to get the water. It's such really, really cool footage. So I've seen it, but I enjoyed it, and it was very well done.
The lightning bug thing was really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what Holland America is built for. It's built for, it's a cruise, but they're kind of building it like almost like that kind of river cruise kind of thing, where it's the smaller ship thing, where you're really getting that in-depth cultural and educational experience, as well as some of the perks from a bigger ship. This is kind of something that they really emphasize, some of the different presentations and stuff that we went to. This ship is built for Alaska, like 100%. We were in the Caribbean. Well, we were not in the Caribbean. We're in the Bahamas, but this ship is made for Alaska. It's their flagship. Holland America wants to be the Alaska cruise line. It's already Princess and them. And I haven't been on a Princess ship, so I can't speak to how this compares to that experience. But listening to them present about Alaska and some of the perks that this cruise line has for sailing to Alaska is pretty impressive. And I know I called my mom yesterday, and I was asking her, because I know she went to Alaska on Princess, and I think Princess has most of these same perks. And what we're talking about is, because this cruise line has been literally sailing to Alaska since before it was a state, they have gotten sort of first dibs and maybe even grandfathered in a little bit on things like being one of the ships that gets to go to Glacier Bay. And if you go to some of these ports in Alaska, they're very limited on how many ships they can have at these ports. So like Holland America ship gets to park right in the main area where you want to be. And other cruise lines, I think they're talking Royal Caribbean and Norwegian, have to park down the way, and they have to shuttle their people in. And like they showed us, there's like complaints, and I've seen this in videos I've watched about snorkeling in Alaska, where people were like complaining because they're getting on a shuttle. They have to wait in a line, get on a shuttle. It's almost like a van version of a tender. And then they have to drive to this location, and they drive to it, and there's the Holland America ship right there. And they're like, why didn't we just sail on that ship? So there's some perks. But the other thing is, the decor of the ship has a lot of Alaska theming. The main pool area, which is beautiful, it has, other ships have this, like the sliding glass that goes over it, which came in handy because it got a little chilly and windy at the end of this
Mhm.
cruise, but we were able to go out and enjoy it because they could just close that off. But if you watch the videos we did of the room tours, some of the higher end ones, and also in the big observation tower on deck 12, which is, or is it deck 12? Deck 14?
Deck 12.
Is it deck 12? I thought they like skipped
14 was all open.
Oh, okay. There's really 13, but they skipped 13, right? They didn't acknowledge
yes,
deck
there
13. There's a plus for you, Virgin. You acknowledged the number 13. Thank you. But anyway, they have like binoculars. So binoculars in the cabin in the Pinnacle suite, which, nobody can afford that I know, but they have this really nice binocular, like weighted stand, but they had 2 of those set up in this viewing area on deck 12,
which is in the front of the ship.
Yeah. And
which is really cool.
It was very cool. So yeah, just a classy ship. And this is what I would say. If I'm going to go on a cruise and I can cruise on, like, say, the Horizon, I'm not even going to throw Mardi Gras in there because that's not even fair. But the Horizon or this ship, which ship am I going to choose? It's going to depend on what kind of cruise I'm looking for. It's like, what did I say? I said, remind me this, because it's a good kind of metaphor.
Restaurants.
It's like it's like restaurants. Okay. So what's my favorite restaurant? I don't know. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I want a nice sit down, quiet steak dinner. Other times I want to go to a fun pizza place or a taco place where I get all the hot sauces. Like, cruises are kind of like that. So if it's like a group cruise, I'm probably not going on this ship. If it's a cruise with some people that, we're going to hang out and we're going to drink and have fun and stuff, this probably isn't the ship I'm going to choose. I'm probably going to go on the Horizon or the Vista or obviously the Mardi Gras. But if I'm looking for a nice, quiet, relaxing, kind of romantic cruise, it's just Kimbra and myself, this is the ship I'm going to go on, because it's got a different vibe to it. It's not the fun energy vibe, but it's the classy romantic vibe. It's just different. So not better or worse, but different. And I think that's probably kind of where I stand on this ship. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I have to say that going into it, like, I was excited because I hadn't been on a Holland America ship, and I've walked off this ship with a completely different view. Like, I am excited to book a longer cruise with just you on a Holland America ship.
Yeah, yeah. And now I've been on one other Holland America ship, and in that situation, it was a regular cruise. The ship, which was the New Amsterdam, which we saw actually, was beautiful. It was when it was real new, and it's still a fairly new ship. It was a beautiful ship. It was a good experience. The food was great and everything was great, which the food on this cruise was really good. There is a negative, though. We'll get to that in a second. But the the crowd on that cruise was definitely older, which I don't have a problem with. Like, I get along with older people. I'm becoming one slowly, a little quicker than I'd like. But it was like that ship shut down at 9 p.m. Like, you'd walk through, the clubs were open, but there were crickets chirping. I think they were actually playing a cricket chirping album on the DJ thing. But and it was like awkward. Some of the things were awkward, like the cruise director doing the Love and Marriage was weird because it was, I don't know, but it was still a good cruise, but it didn't make me like want to go back on Holland America. I wouldn't avoid it, but I wasn't like looking for it. This cruise was different.
I do want to say, speaking of shutting it down at 9:00, it would have been nice if the hot tubs would have stayed open longer than 9:00.
Well, yeah, but that's almost every cruise line.
I don't know. I've been on hot tubs until like midnight.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
It seems like that's becoming the thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So here's a positive and a negative. The food on the ship, let's start with breakfast. Okay. Breakfast was really good. And look what they have on this ship. Okay. Come on. If you're just listening, I'm showing a picture of Vegemite on the buffet. That's right. I don't have to bring my own packets. So that was amazing. But really, like, you know, recently the cruises we've been on, the bacon and stuff wasn't all that in a bag of chips. It was good quality food in the buffet, good selection of food in the buffet. The main dining room, I would say the majority of the food we had was outstanding. There were a couple things that were okay compared to any other cruise line MDR experience, which I've never had just bad food in a cruise MDR, but compared to that, I would say it was a little bit better than my average experience. But here's the negative: their selection of items was very small, and the last night we went to the buffet partly because we wanted to experience that, but mostly because there was literally no appetizer and no entree and no dessert that we were even interested
Well,
in.
the appetizer options, I think there were 4 or 5 of them. All but one was seafood,
Yeah,
and the one that
yeah.
wasn't seafood was salad.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was a little disappointing, and I don't know how that runs on a regular cruise, but they also have a lot of specialty dining. I know
Mhm.
Adam ate at the Italian restaurant, and he was very impressed with that. They have the steak restaurant. They have, I think, an Asian themed restaurant.
They have the seafood, Rudy's.
Yeah, they have Rudy's, which is seafood. So they have a lot of pay options, and the buffet is a very good thing. Let's talk about the pizza. Hang on, I have a picture of. Well, hang on. Before I get to that, let me just highlight this. This is escargot. I'm
Half
showing
eaten.
a picture of here, half eaten. I enjoy escargot. I've had it several times on several different lines. This, hands down, best escargot I've ever had. Not even close. Not even close. This escargot was knock your socks off, and I don't even wear any socks. What is this? Here's an example of breakfast. There's my Vegemite. This egg thing was really cool, like poached eggs on like peppers and stuff. Very nice, very cool, very delicious. But what was I wanting to show here? There's another food thing. Pizza. There's a picture of pizza somewhere. Got like 70 pictures on here. Here we go. Okay. It's the big debate, right? Who has the best pizza? A lot of people say Carnival. Some people say Royal. Pizza's subjective. Everybody has different tastes in pizza. But what I'll say is, for me, every pizza that I've had on a cruise has been good. I've not had any great, amazing, oh my God, pizza moments on a cruise ship. I've never had any gross, this is disgusting, I don't want to eat this pizza moments on a cruise ship either. I've had good pizza on every ship, and none of them have stood out to me enough for me to go, oh yeah, I really like X Cruise Line's pizza the best. None of them have been that different of an experience for me personally. But, and this was no different, but what was different is that you could make your own pizza, and they had a good amount of toppings. I got pepperoni, capicola, and Kalamata olives. I can't do that, to my knowledge, on any other cruise line. I can't get that combination. You got what?
I got pepperoni, ham, and mushrooms.
And you don't have to stand there like a moron and wait for your pizza for them to make your pizza for 15, 20 minutes. They give you a buzzer. And when it's done, it buzzes and you go and pick it up. I think Virgin did that. Didn't Virgin have a buzzer? I feel like they had a buzzer on Virgin.
Oh, they did.
But
I don't think you could leave the pizza place.
No, I don't. No. I mean, this pizza place is kind of in the pool area.
Yeah.
So, and they also have a deli with that pizza place, which we did not have a chance to try, but I'm sure it was delicious. So yeah, the pizza, Adam says the pizza was not good. He didn't like the pizza. I liked the pizza.
I liked it.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
It tasted pretty good. And maybe because I got that's one of my favorite pizza combinations, not the capicola. That was just like, oh, I can get capicola. Let's do it. But pepperoni and Kalamata olives, that's like a go-to for me. If I can get it, I can't get that at every pizza place locally. That's not everybody has Kalamata olives. I love Kalamata olives on a pizza. It's good. So anyway, that was a big plus. They did have a burger place, which we tried. And it was the same thing. You order your burger. They give you a buzzer and you pick it up, so you don't have to like stand there and wait. They're not like flipping them out as quickly as Guy's Burger. The burger was, you didn't have the burger, right?
I just had fries, but the fries were good.
Fries were good. They weren't as good as Guy's. The burger was better than your average buffet burger, but it was no Guy's Burger. It was fine. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. Like, I don't go, oh, I really miss sailing on that ship because of the burger. I do when I'm not on Carnival now. When I'm not on a Carnival ship, Carnival has made me addicted to their Guy's Burger place. And now probably Big Chicken too. But I haven't had that enough to really be, fully.
I'm all about Big Chicken.
I mean, I like Big Chicken, but I mean, I haven't been like fully, addicted to it yet. But I judge all food by Guy's Burgers now. If I'm on a different cruise line, I'm like, well, this is nice, but they don't have Guy's Burger. And, don't get me started on Royal Caribbean's burger, because we ain't even going there. Anyway, the food is good, and they just need a little bit bigger list on the MDR. But overall, I would be very, very happy with the food options on a 7-night cruise or 8-night cruise or whatever on this line. So, okay. Should we go through some of these pictures here?
We can, but I have one more thing to say.
Sure.
I just want to shout out the crew on this ship.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. We had like great experiences with every interaction that we had.
That's true.
One in particular, at the Half Moon Bar, that bar was crowded most of the time. We just happened to walk over there at one point in time when it wasn't, which was nice because we actually got to sit there a little bit. Matt got the smoked drink, and they use they do it like a little display, like they put it up on the counter, and like they do it in front of you, like they do at the fortune teller bar, like they put it out in front of you and make it and stuff.
I have a video of it. I will post on probably YouTube or something. So.
Yeah, they put a round ice ball cube in there. I guess not a cube if it's a ball. But they put it's a sphere, and we have ice sphere makers here at home in the freezer. But this one, I saw them grab a cube, and then it was a sphere. So I asked the girl there at the bar. Her name was Paula May. If any of you are on this ship, she is a wonderful human. And I said, how do you make them round? And she actually grabbed the thing. It's like a gravity metal thing, and put it out in front of me, and grabbed the cube and handed the tongs to me with the cube and said, put it in there. And I did. And then she said, okay, now put it on the top. Like, she let me do it to show me how it worked, which was really cool.
Very cool. Yeah. It's just basically this really heavy thing that just smashes a cube into a sphere. It was interesting.
The thing was cool, but it was that interaction that like it made it extra special.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So we've got a bunch of pictures. I'm just going to go through them kind of quickly because they're not all in a great order, and some of them, a couple of them I'll come back to. But so we did get tall animals. So thank you for that. We enjoy those. And then in each of the elevator areas, there was some artwork. Now, if you're just listening to this podcast, this is going to be, you might want to fast forward or come over to YouTube and look for the video. There was some really cool artwork. We went to all 3 elevator bays and went up and down every one of them and just took pictures of our favorites. So there were these big sculptures, like this sort of MC Escher looking thing here. And then on the walls of the stairwells, there was interesting art. And so we took some pictures of some of our favorites. This is like a book that they've carved into and then put paper stuff on. There were a few of those. They have several really cool ship models there. Here's another book. Like I said, the order's not great, but look at that. Look at the little stairs in that. I mean, these were really neat. And there's another one there. I mean, just really
Those
cool
books
stuff.
Were really cool.
Very cool. This was on our level. This was right by our room. Made it really easy to figure out where you were on the ship too, because they were so distinct. This is just another picture of that. And then, oh, look, there's another book because these are not, I don't know what order these decided to come in, but not a normal one. This was down by the casino, kind of these, I don't know, I kept thinking they were D20s.
So if you didn't get to take a picture above this, but if you look up, it's like a mirror, and it looks like it's like forever going up.
Yeah, it looks like it's a window, but it's just a mirror actually. And this is like looks like the Venus of Willendorf and Puerto Rican or the Amber Cove Dominican Republic statues had a baby, which would be appropriate for the Venus of Willendorf. Those of you art history nerds know what the Venus of Willendorf is. And there's a couple more pictures because my phone was doing weird stuff. Then they had these weird, like
deconstructed,
instruments, and there were a few of these. Kimbra really liked these. They were in the elevator areas. Just the artwork on this ship was really cool. It was cool, and it was not like quote unquote old people art. Like it was like neat.
Yeah,
I think.
it was cool
like
art.
Really classy, interesting art. And of course, they had more of these, but I had to take Debbie Harry because punk rock. And this was a cassette tape that they made this picture of Debbie Harry out of the tape. So that's cassette tape artwork. How cool is that? There's that again. And then this was David Bowie cut out of an album. They had a few of those too, different, but we took David because David Bowie's, I thought was the coolest one. And then here's another interesting like artwork with what is that? Trombone, trumpet?
Really?
Saxophone. It's a saxophone, right?
Were you serious right there?
I got to it eventually.
Yes, that's a saxophone, Matt. Stacy, the music artwork is really cool.
It's very cool. Here's another ship model.
That's interesting with the reflection.
It was real hard to get some of those in the glass case. Some of these this was interesting. It's like these speakers with the picture of the world on it. Then, this was really cool. So another David Bowie thing. They basically took the album here and they made a collage of other stuff.
They were 3D. You
partially,
can't tell that in this picture real well.
So this is the Ziggy Stardust album. And then I took a picture of the John Lennon Imagine album. And, I think there's like Sistine Chapel stuff there and stuff. Just really creative, cool stuff. This was Led Zeppelin, who I personally can't stand. Apologies if you're a Led Zeppelin fan. And then it had the I guess it's Marvel stuff, but it's cool. It's cool looking. Then they had these paper crafts. So this pangolin, just layers of cut paper. We took a picture of all the animals here, I think. So there's the pangolin, the gorilla, rhinoceros, and a tiger. I mean, this is cool stuff, right?
Did you do the buildings too, or did we pass those up?
I don't know if I took a picture of the buildings.
Okay.
Here's another kind of fun little, what would you call this, ukuleles?
Yeah.
Or something like that. They didn't have strings or anything, but still kind of cool. Here's one picture I did take of the back area of the ship. This is a really nice area. This is obviously not the one that you can cover up, but nice pool with 2 hot tubs. And then the bar is down below to the left. Just real spacious, open feeling. I don't know. Tommy Casabona always talks about areas like this on a ship as being the coolest spots. And I think this is what he's talking about. And if it is, I totally get it. Like this was just a cool area. I thought this was a bear when we first saw it, and then Kimber's like, that's an otter. And of course, Kimber's right. But look how cute that is. Like look at that. Look at that face. That is adorable. I thought I took a picture of its butt too, but maybe it's out of order.
It's that one. No. Go down 3.
Oh, down 3. Yeah. Well, I don't know how this decided to put these in certain orders, but then they had these moths and butterflies made out of material. Sorry if you weren't expecting an art tour of the ship. This is what we took pictures of because we are who we are.
We didn't do a ship tour, pictures of the tour. We did an art tour, which was kind of different.
It was cool. Like we're walking around just taking pictures of it.
At least an hour probably doing
I would say so. Yeah. Here's a scorpion. Now this is actually a painting, but what they did is they did these. This is also a painting. This is 2-dimensional painting. But it looks 3-dimensional, right? And basically they built these animals out of flower pieces. The scorpion, there's another one of that. Looks like maybe a moth or something. This was hard to photograph, but this was really cool. they have the sea turtle and a stingray and sharks and octopus and stuff in this. And we think this was like a 3D printed, like with like the little,
the 3D printing pen.
yeah, we think that's how this was done.
It's what it looked like.
I tried to capture it. It just didn't photograph well, but it was neat to see in person. Some fun Photoshop collage pictures here. Took that one for my mom, took that one for your mom. And then these are really cool because these are like pictures built out of junk. And they didn't paint these. They just found junk that was the right color. And they made this, I guess it's supposed to be a jaguar or a leopard. Maybe a leopard because then this is an elephant. And is that all we... Oh, there. And zebra there. So these are all African animals. That's why I think it's probably a leopard. But anyway, we got this towel animal. We don't know what it is. Maybe it's a squid, which would be real appropriate because we haven't released our Half Moon K. We haven't edited it yet, but I know we asked, what animals we saw. Well, spoiler alert, the best squid encounter ever. Okay. We hung out with the squid for hours, like literally, like it hung out. We went to lunch. We got back in the water. We hung out again. Like, I am friends with this squid. Like, we're Facebook buddies now. She's like...
we had dinner. We invited her over for dinner.
Yeah. And then, of course, I
have them in person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. That'll be better. Did we miss anything else? I think that's it for the most part. There.
Pull that picture off of there.
I think that... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll bring the Vegemite and boom. Okay. So one of the cool things they were testing out on this cruise was this painting thing. And it's like painting with a twist or whatever it's called by you.
Painting to go.
Which I have a little bit of an issue with.
Because you say Gough.
It's supposed to be Van Gogh, not Van Gogh. But anyway, I'm just kidding. I won't be that persnickety about that. But it's cool. Like, so it's like, yeah. So it's like one of those things where you go and you paint, you drink. They normally will charge for this $20. 25 for one, 40 for two.
Yeah. So they said,
depending on which ship you're on, they may or may not offer.
Let me back up a little bit. So this is a brand new thing that they're getting ready to start, and they kind of tested it out on us. It's going to be on, I think they named 3 or 4 different ships. I don't remember what all of them are. Their plan is to offer 2 of them for each cruise, except Rotterdam. They said Rotterdam just won.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which I don't understand. But yes, like you said, if you want to do one of them, it's $25. And if you want to do both, it's $40.
Now that is a fair price. I think that's similar to what you would pay on land. However, I have a couple nitpicks about it. On ours, it was because it was included, so they expected 9, they got 16. It was, and they accommodated us. They did a great job. But here's my nitpicks. It's 2 hours of time, and because we had so many people that were extra and they were getting it set up, we started like 20 minutes late, so we missed a thing we wanted to go to because it was like we were there for like 2.5 hours, which is a long time, and they scheduled it at 11, so that put us right through the middle of lunch.
Yeah, so then we had to rush for lunch.
Yeah, so it would have been better if they had done it at 10. They did tell us up front, you're going to need 2 hours, but that was before we waited a half an hour to start or 20 minutes to start. That's fine, whatever. They can streamline that. My other problem is they had plenty of people there to help. They had like 4 people, I think, there to help, but they don't actually paint. You watch a video of somebody painting, and to me, that ain't cutting it. They need a person painting. It's not that hard. I'm sure there's somebody on the ship that has enough artistic ability to teach one of these courses. If they want to hire me to do it, I will gladly do it. Not that my painting came out awesome, but if I did it enough times, a couple times, I think it would come out really good. But they just need somebody. Like, when you go to these classes, you're not going to watch YouTube and how to paint. If you want to do that, you can stay at home. It's different. You need somebody there to do it, that you can see it, to work with you. They need to have it in a personal thing, but whatever, it's still really cool.
It's a cool experience. Like how often do you get to sit on the ship and like see the sea while you're painting?
Yes, so it is very cool. So Kimbra, the thing that we did was like a you may have seen it on Facebook, but it was like a beachscape.
Here, that one's yours.
Thing. And so since we were doing 2 of them, we tried to angle them differently so that we could maybe hang them at some point.
So I will say before we show these off, one of my umbrellas is incomplete because I screwed it up and then it didn't dry fast enough and I was really hungry, so I just left it to finish it later. So one of my umbrellas is incomplete. Don't judge.
They're not going to judge you.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm the one that's like supposed to be the artist, and I'm like looking at this going, this is a little cringy for me, but
mine? Ouch, man.
No, mine.
Oh, okay. Are you ready?
Yes. All right. So I can't even tell what we're looking at here. But I mean,
you need to come up
up
towards me, there, down, away from me. There we go. Ha.
There we go. So I mean, it was fun. I think it's a really pretty thing that they chose. I'm sure this will be appropriate to the cruise that they're going on. I think it's a wonderful idea. I wish more people wanted to do it, and maybe they do. It was pretty popular on our cruise. I think this is a really fun thing. Like just to give people that creativity, and it's always about music and stuff like that. How about some visual arts? People always have this block that they think they can't draw or they can't paint, but you can. It's mechanical, some of it. So, and everybody that painted there pretty much came up with really cool looking works of art, like you see at these things, So go look at a modern art museum, and you'll be like, oh yeah, mine's a lot better than that, and that sells for $5 million. But anyway, it was a really cool experience, and I think that they have a little bit of tweaking to do. But that's okay. They were trialing it on us. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I hope that it catches on. And I hope that I think they've done that on other cruise lines. I don't think this is the first cruise line to do this, but I hope it catches on, becomes a popular thing on different cruise lines. And then, yes, Mike, then I will be gone for 6 months out of the year teaching painting on a cruise ship. Happily. And the other 6 months, I can do ecology lectures.
So Mike said he thinks it's really cool. The only issue might be flying and have to bring it home. So that's actually something that we thought about.
Yes.
Is we think it would be nice if it was a smaller canvas.
Mm-hmm.
That would not only be good for travel if you're flying in, but it would make the time less.
Yes. I think you could do a smaller, like kind of 8x10 canvas, and that would solve those problems, or at least make them better. And also, they need to gesso their canvases, because if you know about painting, like the first 15 minutes was us just like soaking paint into the canvas because it didn't have,
like, I was real irritated.
Gessoed enough for it all. And so it was like you couldn't get the paint to spread on the canvas. It just drank it up. Yeah. But anyway, these are little things that they can fix, and they just need to solve these issues. And I think it's really cool. So anyway, that's that. All right. Anything else? Did we miss anything in there? I think we got through all the pictures and stuff that we took and that.
Yep.
So yeah, again, as I said in the beginning, I think this is an awesome cruise ship. It's the 7th Rotterdam.
It is the 7th.
Which is
interesting. And actually the smoky drink is called the Rotterdam 7.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And if you're looking to go to Alaska, I can't speak for Princess. I know that's a popular one, and I'm sure it's an amazing experience, but I can tell you from what I know that I would choose either Holland America or Princess. And I can also tell you that if Princess is still the best, I can tell you that Holland America is trying real hard to up their game to be better. And that probably counts for something. So this would be an amazing ship to do Alaska on. And I don't know what the deal is, because Adam said his balcony was like normal or smaller. Our balcony was huge. Like, watch the video, the showers in the rooms, watch our room tours. This shower was crazy. It was like probably as big as the shower in our apartment. Not as a big one, but like a normal standard size bathtub shower. It was like that size. It was crazy.
I was a little upset that I didn't get one more shower before we got off the ship. Just saying. like we started on our way home and I was like, man, I wish I would have showered this morning for this.
And then they had the pump. A lot of them have the shampoo and the gel, but they also had the conditioner. But then on the sink, they have the lotion and the soap and a pump thing was really cool. And I will say, for the people out there listening that are like of the same like mind as us, one of the things that they really, really emphasized, and all the talks we went to, and there were like upper management people there, was their sustainability and trying to be a more green cruise line. And I don't know how much everybody in the audience cared about that, but for people like us, that's like a really big deal. And it should be a top priority for everybody, because if we don't take care of these places, then we're going to lose them. And then it doesn't matter if you cared about it, because you're not going to have a place to go. So we need to be aware of those issues, especially places like Alaska and the Caribbean, where those ecosystems are so fragile and we need to preserve them. And I couldn't do a podcast on cruising if I felt like this industry was overtly damaging these places that I'm cruising to see. So hats off to them for that. And I hope they keep doing better and better with that. So there you go. There's my little PSA or whatever. Your mom saw me in the shower.
I saw that.
Oh, Tammy saw me in the shower.
And he had his hat on in the shower. Yes, but it was covered with a shower cap, so it was fine.
That's right. That's right. If you don't know what she's talking about, watch our room video. There's me naked in the shower. Anyway, all right, let's do our cruise creature.
All right.
You know what we didn't do, Kimbra? We didn't upload any images of this animal.
I know that's why I asked you about it multiple times.
Oh, I thought we were just trying to get an ID on it.
No, I thought you were going to take a clip of it and put it on there.
I didn't do that, but we will release a video of our Half Moon Cay experience, and you will get to see this animal. And you can also just do a quick Google search and find out what it looks like. If you're listening to the audio one and you don't care anyway, but the cruise creature of the day is
the Brittle Star,
and specifically the
blunt-spined Brittle Star.
So Brittle Star is basically the animal that we're talking about now. I was really excited going here because I knew that there were Brittle Stars at Half Moon Cay, and I know where they are. I know how to find them. And Kimbra has never seen a starfish or a Brittle Star in person, other than at the aquarium, like in the wild, I should say. She's seen them in person, but not in the wild. And so I get really excited whenever Kimbra gets to see something she's never seen. I mean, I get excited when I get to see stuff I've never seen, but there's a lot that I had seen that you hadn't, that you've gotten to see and are getting to see. And that makes me as excited as when I first saw it. So I was hoping to find a Brittle Star, and I did. And so that's our cruise creature. Now, Brittle Stars are not technically starfish, but they are very close relatives of the starfish. So they're both in the phylum Echinodermata, which means spiny skin. And the way you can remember that is you sing
Echinodermata.
Whoa.
Echino.
Well, you try and sing. Echinodermata.
There we go. I mixed my letters up.
Echinodermata. Like an echidna, spiny, and derma skin. Spiny skinned animals. They are your sea urchins, your sea cucumbers, your starfish. and your brittle stars. And brittle stars and starfish are in the same, what is it? King Philip called. They're not in the same class, but they're in the same subphylum. So they're in a. Have I got a booger again?
Yeah.
It's been the booger episode apparently.
I tried not to say it.
Well, whatever. So they're in the same subphylum together. So they're closer related than they are to like a sea urchin or something. And they look like a starfish, except for they have a small central disc. This species, it's about the size of a quarter. And then, well, it can be up to the size.
The one we saw was like a dime.
Like a dime
maybe.
or a nickel, yeah.
Yeah.
But they can be up to about the size of a quarter in this species. And their arms are very skinny and long.
And spiny.
And they're much spinier than regular starfish.
But not like sharp spiny.
No.
They just have like blunt spines.
This one is specifically has blunt spines. But they move them really fast.
Yeah.
Like these are not starfish where you look at a starfish, it's moving full speed, and like 5 minutes later, it's moved 10 inches. This thing can move. Like they're pretty quick, and they really flail about. They can drop their arms like a lizard tail. Starfish can't do that, but starfish can regenerate their arms. They can also regenerate their arms, but apparently they need at least one. They can't lose all of them, I guess. I don't know. That's what I saw today.
I feel like I
research.
saw somewhere that if you like split them in half, they'll regenerate the other half.
Some starfish will do that. Maybe brittle stars can do that
One
too.
of those videos that we watched
said that.
Yeah.
So that's possible. I think it mentioned that they might reproduce. I think it said that they might do that intentionally. Like reproduce that way intentionally. They reproduce sexually, where they call it like broadcast fertilization.
They spew their stuff.
Yeah, and the males and females in the water. It's a cloud. It's not very fun, but little babies, brittle stars, are born, or they can like divide into two, but then they're basically genetically the same thing. So that's a lot of sea creatures can do that, like corals do that and stuff. So that's kind of cool. This specific brittle star, and most brittle stars eat detritus and like algae. So detritus is like basically dead, rotting stuff that's on the bottom, which explains why it's like under the rocks. They also are very light sensitive. They don't have like eyes, but they have light sensitive tissues that tell them when they're exposed to light, so they get underneath something and hide. But they're under there eating like, just like the dead stuff that falls to the bottom. They're the cleanup crew basically for the ocean. And by the way, they have a mouth with little scrapey teeth there. And inside that mouth is a little digestive system where they digest the nutrients out of whatever they eat, and then they excrete out of the same opening. So their mouth is also their butt.
They're potty mouths.
They are potty mouths, just like the sea anemone. They are potty mouths. So that's kind of interesting, right? So brittle stars, you will know them if you see them, because if you pick up something that looks like a starfish, but it's like a little circle with lots of wavy things, and they're moving around really fast, and they're a little spiky looking, that's almost definitely a brittle star. Almost definitely. And they live in all over the world in the oceans, and some of them are in shallow water, some are in deep water. There's like hundreds of different species of brittle star in the world. But that's our cruise creature. So look forward to seeing that in our upcoming Half Moon K video that will hopefully come out this week.
So speaking of Half Moon K, are we going to talk about that, or are we going to talk about that later? Like next episode or something?
Oh, that's a good point. Well, we can talk about it now.
You just want to make an extra long podcast?
Yeah, I mean, we're just 10 minutes over now, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Half Moon K, we'll just give a brief of it. I think, did I have a picture of it in this?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think I took pictures of it with the real camera, not my phone, so that's not on here.
Oh, yeah.
But
so
anyway,
we went to Half Moon K.
Yes. Which is a tender port.
Yes.
But a short tender.
They did keep saying Half Moon Key like a lot on this ship.
Yeah, I think they're trying to differentiate themselves from.
But we made the decision we made the decision that if it's spelled K, it's going to be said K.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
For now.
yeah, so Half Moon Cay is a nice area. We snorkeled. Surprise, surprise.
Half Moon Cay is really cool. I know a lot of people talk about how beautiful it is. It is a totally beautiful beach area. Everything's included on the island unless you want to buy souvenirs or drinks. Then you have to do like the drink package for Half Moon Cay, I think, specifically. But it's just a really nice island, crystal clear water for the most part. It gets a little murky when people get into it, but not too bad. You can still see in it. And it's got a swim area. It's got like, you can do horseback riding, you can do kayaks, and you
They
can
have
do
like a little trolley thing.
Yeah, because it's a pretty long distance to get to the food area. And they have a stingray encounter that you can do. They do have a snorkel you can do out on a boat. But can you screen share on that and bring up a map of Half Moon Cay?
Yeah.
Because so I know we've got Mike, I think, still in here from Levy's Fat Life. And I know he was curious about where we snorkeled because we did see a lot of cool stuff. And I want to kind of show everybody where to go in Half Moon Cay to snorkel. If you're interested in snorkeling, there's spots where you can go. And it's actually, this is one of the easiest snorkels, I would say, that you could do. Like if you're a novice snorkeler, you're not super comfortable snorkeling, like Half Moon Cay is the perfect place to snorkel. And is it the best snorkeling location in the Bahamas and the Caribbean? No, it's definitely not. But considering what we saw there and what I've seen there in the past, I still rate it as like super, super duper high quality place. Can you make it the satellite view? I think down there in the layers. Okay.
And zoom in on there.
Yeah.
So it's here, right? Isn't that what we're thinking?
Yeah. So if you zoom in a little bit more, you can see this little area.
Here, I'll zoom in more. So when you tender into this little,
like a little canal,
you go into. Then you get off here.
Right.
And then there's like some little shopping and stuff in here, right?
Yep. Okay. And so then you want to go, if you're looking to snorkel, go right to the beach, right down there. Kimber, you can kind of show them with the arrow. I
got the pointer. So you come right in down into here.
And all the way up, really, that little thing right there is like right there. That's like a playground, like a little water playground. But you can get in the water in front of it. Anyway, you're going to go out and follow this wall. And basically this wall,
so real quick, right here is like a cabana thing that has like a water slide, and it's like the big fancy, like most expensive probably one.
Oh yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, so that's what's right here.
But you can go along this wall. Now, once you get out there, really about where that is and past it, along the wall, depending on the tide, it might be a couple feet deep. It might be 4 or 5 feet deep. It may be a little deeper at certain times of the year, but I think that's probably the average. And there are a ton of small baby reef fish that inhabit this, and super colorful, as well as a lot of little fish called like gobies and blennies that you can see on there. We also saw the Caribbean sea eggs, which is a sea urchin, a white sea urchin. We saw the diadema, long spine sea urchin. Don't touch those. We saw a flounder in this area. I've seen chitin, lots of flounder at Half Moon Cay, lots of peacock flounders at Half Moon Cay. This is where I saw the octopus, not this time. Sorry, but there's a spoiler, I guess. But the last time I was at Half Moon Cay, it was the most amazing octopus experience I've ever had still. That was right on this wall. So you can go along this wall. You can see a lot of little stuff. Now, when you get towards, can you zoom in any more on that map? Or is that about it? It gets a little fuzzy.
It's kind of fuzzy.
But when you get to about right here, okay, somewhere in this area is where the swim rope is. And so what you want to do is you want to follow along this wall, and there's going to be a spot probably right probably right in about here. And there's just a little rocky area that goes out away from there. And it's not a huge space. It's pretty small, but you will find bigger fish there, squirrel fish, grunts, lots of stuff. And again, the water might be 3 or 4 feet deep. It might be 6 or 7 feet deep, depending on the tide. It changed while we were there. It got deeper while we were there. This is where I've seen a lot of stingrays, although we didn't see any on this particular day. But the other thing that they've done at Half Moon Cay is they've put a whole bunch of reef balls out there. Now, they've always had a few, but they have a bunch of them. And so the way you find those is you just kind of start where we just were at, and you just kind of swim out, and you can kind of look up for dark spots in the water, and you're going to see quite a few. I don't know. There's probably 7, 8 spots where there were reef balls.
Oh, at least. And then on our way back in, we found some more.
Yeah. And so reef balls are basically these sort of spherical shapes of concrete with holes in them. And they usually have, most of the time they had 2 or 3 together. And they put those in there purposely. Sometimes they're called oyster balls too. And the point of them is they create a nice, hard, solid surface for new coral to grow, and also like sponges, but obviously oysters in some habitats. And so having the big open hollowness with the holes, you get a lot of big fish in there. So you will see some colorful fish. Now they're just little oases of spots. But if you go to each one of these and you just hang out there for a while, and this is my little experience advice for you. Whenever you go snorkeling somewhere like this, it's kind of nice that there's not a ton of space to really explore, because it really makes you hone in and focus on a few locations. So my advice to you is to go hang out over one of these like reef ball areas or some part of the wall, and don't just keep swimming. Just stop and just float still as you can, and just hang out there for like 10 minutes. And you will probably see a lot of things, because as you hang out there and you're not moving around, you're not splashing around, animals are going to become more noticeable. Animals are going to be more comfortable. Animals are just going to show up. And that is one of the tricks to seeing more marine life, is just being patient and taking your time and just really, really looking for stuff. But Half Moon Cay is a great
You done with
snorkel
this?
beach. Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from Mike about the lifeguards.
Yeah.
We had no problems with the lifeguards. There were lifeguards.
There was one I saw.
Well, there was the one by us, but I think they were scattered down throughout.
Okay.
I mean, he waved at us, I think.
Mike, did you have issues with the lifeguards at Half Moon Cay?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking him if he did, because
right.
For him to ask that question. Yeah, we didn't have any issues. I was a little like, we put our stuff down right by the lifeguard stand, because I'm like, hey, there's added security or whatever. But then the lifeguard wasn't there most of the time. But then I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't say anything to me, because I was going to put my weight belt on. I don't think he would have said anything to me, but I didn't put it on at first, and I did after lunch. Because sometimes people are weird about the weight belt. They're like, oh, he's going to drown because he has a weight belt. But no, I have a weight belt because I know what I'm doing.
Oh, he asked because of the rope. We never went past the rope,
No.
So we didn't have any of that issue. So
You really don't need to go past the rope. There's a little bit past the rope against the wall, but if you go away from the wall and go past the rope, it drops off pretty rapidly. And so it's just sand. So you're not really going to want to be out there anyway. There's not a lot to see out there. It's kind of cool to hang out the rope. You might see stuff hanging on the other side of the rope that may come in and out of that area.
Before we get any more, Aaron is asking, on the group cruise, will we do adventures like this to teach us and point things out to us? Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. If you come on the group cruise with us, that is one of the plans. I don't know where we're going to do what and that sort of thing, but you can absolutely 100% count on it. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, you know that Kimbra and I love to talk about this stuff, and we're both, love to teach people things. And so, yes, we will love to do that and help out, and also show you how to find things if there's tips we can show you in that. And if I can swim down and pick something up and bring it up that's safe for the creature, then I will do that depending on where we're at. But yes, absolutely. That is, and we will go and we will video and we will go over videos and pictures, and we will ID
We'll bring our
things.
books.
We will show you how to identify animals. Yes, you will be either happy or you'll be like, please shut up and stop telling me all this stuff. Which if you do that, we won't be offended. So, but I don't think you'll do that because I think you'll enjoy that. But some people, it's like even when I was a teenager and I went to the zoo with people, like I just talked the whole time, to where I think people were probably like, let's not ever go to the zoo with Matt again because he won't stop talking. So,
Aaron, send me an email, fintastictravel@gmail.com, with some details on what you're looking for, like cabin type and such, and I can get you prices, and we absolutely would love you to join us.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up.
Okay.
And then we'll be back.
All right.
For those of you who are sticking around on YouTube.
All right. Well, on that note, it's time to head for the horizon. And until next time, seize the day.
Have a fantastic week, everybody. We're back?
We're back.
Okay. So let me just answer a couple of questions real quick, or address a couple of statements that Mike says, I took my drone and they allowed me to use it. But they said to keep it off the beach and over people's heads. Said a drone hit a small child in the head several months ago. I can tell you, Mike, that my buddy Mark had a drone, well, I guess he still does, and it came down, and I don't know if he tried to catch it or what. I mean, it had all the safety features, but it hit his arm and like he had to get stitches. Like it chopped him up bad. So I get why they would want to be careful about that, for sure. So that sounds terrifying, but I'm glad they let you use it. So they were discussing possibly banning drones if they continue to have issues. Right. So it's one of those deals where this is why we can't have nice things, because there's always some moron out there that's not being safe. Hopefully that won't happen. I hope it doesn't, because I love to see the beautiful drone footage and stuff. So if you, and I'm not addressing you, Mike, in particular, but if you fly a drone out there, please be careful for people's safety, and so that you don't ruin it for everybody else. So there's my 2 cents there. Aaron says, be careful what you say, Matt. You might drive you batty with questions. That's okay. I like answering questions. You may have noticed that.
Yeah.
So all right. So we have a couple other things before we go. You want to save one of those for the after?
Which one? The really cool one or the other one?
Okay, whichever one you want.
You tell me.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to end the audio recording part right now. Okay. Now we can just hang out with folks and show them.
So now all the people that were listening are going to be like, what did they talk about?
Well, we'll see how many people listen after the end. And if they do, then they'll need to come over to the YouTube and watch it. The after, Kevin.
This is the after.
So what we do is we, after the credits, we come back with something that we're still recording for the podcast. Like we don't start recording until the intro song. We just lop the front off of it. And then at the end, after the credits, we come back and we usually try and do something fun or interesting or stupid or whatever. And then we have a silence and we cut it there for the podcast. And then we just kind of hang out with everybody like a regular live stream. So that's the after.
Okay, so we have like 3 after things. There were 2, but Stacy, since you said it,
Tell everyone about the group cruise.
join us on our group cruise March 12th, 2023 on the Carnival Pride out of Tampa, going to Grand Cayman, Roatan, Belize, and Cozumel. Send me an email at fintastictravel@gmail.com. We want you to join us. That's the fastest I think I've ever said it.
All 4 of those ports, by the way, great snorkel ports. All 4 of those ports can be, depending on what you do. And we'll probably dive at 1, depending on how many divers, because we got Mallory and Andrew, right?
Yep, I think they're the only divers.
So if they're the only divers, we'll probably just dive at 1 port, but we will probably snorkel at least 1 or 2, and then we'll probably do something that's not as something for everybody that don't snorkel, or because we have a few people that may not be into that we want to accommodate a little bit, but we are who we are, so we're going to be underwater as much as we can be in most situations. But we're also going to hang out. So if you come on the group cruise, we're going to come up with some fun stuff to do on the ship, as well as things to do in port, and we're just going to hang out. Like, we're going to hang out, maybe have a cocktail if you're a cocktail kind of person, or not, and just chat and have fun, relax, the cruise stuff. So,
which thing do you want to do next?
You decide.
Let's talk about our swag.
Okay. So Holland America set us up with some swag.
Yeah.
I mean, they just went above and beyond. I don't even know what to say. Like, wow. So
so every night we came back to our room and there was something new and cool on our bed every night.
And it was me. No, it wasn't. That's not true.
He's not new.
And I'm not really that cool either.
All right.
Swag. Yes. Get on with it.
All right. So this was the first one, right?
Yes.
So we did post a picture of this. So
yeah,
if
you may
you
have seen some of this before,
but it's still cool. So the first one is the bag, and it's a nice canvas bag with a zipper.
Yeah, they sell this without the words in the gift shop for like.
Well, it just says Rotterdam. In the gift shop, it says Rotterdam
for like $30 or
yeah.
something.
But there are 2, so we each got a bag.
This was their theme, attitude of gratitude, and they really came through with that. Like, I did not expect any of this. It was really cool of them to do it.
Okay, and then I don't want to. Actually, I don't need that anymore. Okay, and then the next night, I got mugs.
You got mugged?
Mugs.
Oh, you got. No, I'm not going to go there. Yes, we got mugs.
Yes, and it says we still get chills even after 75 years. So they're doing kind of a new marketing thing with these fun little quotes like this. And it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's a picture of Alaska.
Yeah, it's Glacier Bay.
Yeah, very nice.
So we each got one of those, and then this journal. It's a gratitude journal, and I actually haven't looked through most of it. But it's like little. It's got like some prompts and stuff, and then some empty pages. So it's a pretty cool little journal.
When we went to the MDR and we sat at the MDR just randomly, like it wasn't assigned seating, they had little quotes on the tables, and I sat right in front of a quote that was a J.R.R. Tolkien quote. And I was like, did they somehow know I was going to sit here and know me? But like it was cool. So that's got a lot of inspirational cool quotes.
I also want to point out that these items, the mug doesn't, but the bag and this journal have like the date and the ship and stuff on it, which is really cool.
Very commemorative.
Yeah.
Speaking of commemorative.
So the last night we come back to our room and there's a box.
And it wasn't Amazon.
No.
So that was different.
Yeah.
It's usually Amazon.
It's a box, and we're like, oh, what's the box? So we opened the box, which I'm doing right now, which you can't see. And it's this really cool plate.
Like a nice plate. Please don't drop it.
I'm not gonna drop it. And it's
It's even got little holes so you could hang it or something, or put it in like a little.
That's what this is.
That's a
You-
plate.
You can put those, stick it in there,
Oh,
and you can
ooh,
hang it.
I wouldn't trust
No,
that.
me either.
I wouldn't trust that.
But I didn't know what that was. So, and in each of these nights with these gifts, they gave us a letter. And it was basically like, here's a thing and stuff, and to show our gratitude for you, we're going to give you this item thing here. And this plate in particular, it's designed with like they're really close tied to like the Netherlands and stuff, and that's like a design.
Yeah.
I don't have the paper with me. I'm sorry. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but
It's beautiful though.
yes, and the plates in the MDR, the little bread plates and stuff have that design on them. And that was actually something that we pointed out on the first night. And then it was really cool when we opened that box and it had the same design.
That's what I'm talking about. The classy though. Like it's classy without crossing that gaudy line.
Yep.
Which I enjoy gaudy sometimes, but it's just like, it's like it almost feels like a modern Titanic or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that would not be a good reference for some people, but for me, I think it's cool.
Yeah, but if it's modern, then it's not going to sink.
Yeah, that's what they said about the Titanic. So yeah, and then one other thing that you wanted to talk about, right?
Well, I mean, we mentioned the others, so I feel like it's only appropriate. So some of the cool things that we saw in Half Moon Cay, we mentioned the squid and the brittle star and the flounder and some of the fish, and we saw a sea turtle. It's a little green sea turtle, and it was pretty cool.
It was really cool. Yes, you spotted it, and then it swam away, and then
eventually
I got to see it too because it kept coming back.
I saw it 3 times. So the first time I saw it, I saw the squid. Let's see. I missed the beginning. Was this exclusive to agents or past guests? This was specifically for travel agents. So Holland America invited a group of travel agents on board, and the theme of this cruise was attitude for gratitude. What did I say? Attitude of gratitude. And it was basically them selling their brand and showing us how awesome they are.
They wined and dined us. That's what I would say.
I'm telling you, they did their job well.
They did.
Because I was looking at cruises the other day on Holland America. Actually, it might have been today or last night, to see if we could book one.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm ready.
But look, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, we pretty much got free on Virgin too. And you guys know we were very honest about that cruise. And same with this one, only we had a very different opinion of it. So, there you go.
Yeah. So my sea turtle. So Matt was over along that wall, and I was working my way over there, and I saw something. It was dark because it was kind of far away. And at first I actually thought it was a grouper because it was large. And as I got closer, it was a sea turtle. And of course, Matt is who knows where. And
I was looking at a peacock flounder.
Not that time.
Oh. I don't know what I was looking at.
So it eventually kind of swam away onto the other side of the rope. And I went over to Matt, and he was like looking down in the rubble. And I didn't walk up to him. I snorkeled up to him, and I did the sea turtle sign right in front of him.
I thought you were just being stupid. I'm like, why don't do that? Don't it's like hollering fire in a crowded room. Like, don't be sea turtle and signing me. Like, there's no sea turtle right there. But she had come over and she saw a sea turtle. But Mike, you were asking about the lifeguard thing. So even though the sea turtle was we could see it on the other side, I could have swam under the rope and swam underwater and come back, but I would have just scared the sea turtle away, and there was nothing else over there for me to go look at. So I did that in Grand Turk. In Grand Turk, I went under the rope and swam quite a distance towards the ship, and then just made sure I had enough time to swim all the way back and before I surfaced on the other side of the rope again. But I didn't really, there was nothing for me to do on the other side of the rope in this case. But the sea turtle was over there, but if I went over there, it would have just swam off. I
Yeah.
think I would have scared it.
Yeah.
Let it come to us, and it was like nibbling on the grass and stuff.
Yeah. So there were 2 more times that it did that. It came back, and Matt again was all the way at the wall, and he must have been underwater because I was looking, and that turtle was like right there, and I'm like, oh, where is he? He's gonna miss the turtle. And then of course by the time he popped up and I shouted for him, there was another girl that was there that like started scaring the turtle away, and of course Matt came up and it was swimming under the rope. And then the third time he finally got to see it. It came in a little bit further and it was eating grass.
Oh, and Kimbra didn't get any footage because I forgot to pack the GoPros. I'm just going to take responsibility
Are
for
you?
it. Yes. I thought she had packed them, but she didn't. I didn't pack them. I didn't check. So we didn't have any GoPros with us. I actually bought a GoPro on the ship. They only have 7s and 8s. I don't know why they haven't got 9s and 10s, but we looked at the price on Best Buy for an 8 and it was $300, and they were selling it for $300, but I didn't have to pay tax. And I was like, I'm just going to buy one, because if I don't and I see something, I'm going to hate myself for it. And I wish she would have had one because we would have got more footage, but I'm really glad I went ahead and paid that, because the squid footage we got, oh my God, the squid footage is really impressive. If you're not a squid person, you might be like, it's a squid. But for me, it was like really, really cool.
It was funny. The first night we were kind of walking around and we were like, oh, let's go back to the cabin and get our GoPro batteries charged. And we walked in and he said, okay, grab the GoPros. And I said, I don't have the GoPros. You didn't grab the GoPros? And he said, you grabbed the GoPros. But I didn't grab the GoPros.
There was some tense moments there for a bit, but we got through it. Yeah. So Mike, I've been there 3 times. The first time I went, I barely went out and barely saw anything, but this time and the time before that, I was all over that wall right in front of that villa thing. And they didn't say anything. They don't, like, you're allowed to swim there. That's not part of their rental. So they, like, I don't know. I mean, there were people from there that were like in the water and stuff, but they weren't like, this is our space or anything. And the lifeguards didn't, didn't care. Yeah. That octopus, man, was like, I mean, that's like up there. One of the coolest experiences I've had underwater, bar none. And now the squid is right up there too. So, I mean, Half Moon Cay doesn't have the beautiful coral that, we saw in Curacao and Aruba. Well, we didn't really see a lot of coral in Aruba, but it's the experiences I've had there. Like, if you watch that video, I don't know if you saw the part with the stingrays, like there were literally like stingrays trying to do the wild thing. And like, I was hanging on to a concrete slab, just sitting underwater, holding my breath. And this stingray came up and she literally like sat on my hand, like just sat there for a minute. And I just sat there filming her. And then she swam off. Like in that video, there's probably a couple minutes of stingray footage, but I had like probably 15, 20 minutes of just solid stingray footage from that experience. It was cool. And I wasn't feeding them or anything. They were just there, and she was annoyed with the 2 males because they were trying to catch her, and she was just like, get away from me. But it was really cool. Yeah. They were on my hand, Mike. Big female on, like, literally parked on my hand. Like, I was sitting there watching them in the distance. She came over and just sat on my hand, like just the end of her fin, and just sat there. And I was like, oh, hello. How are you? Come here often? It was pretty cool. Pretty sure the squid was a female too. So
it was a big squid.
Yeah. Yeah. She was big. She was very big. And she was there. Kimbra saw her too. And she was hanging out above one of the reef balls.
So when I first saw it, Matt had swam off in the opposite direction. And I saw Reef Balls the other way. So I went towards it, and I saw, again, it was far enough away that I could see something was there. It looked from a distance, it looked like a fish with like its tail like broken and hanging. And I'm like, that's really weird. Why would a fish be like that? And then as I got closer, I was like, that's not a fish. What is that? And then it clicked that it was a squid because it was so big.
Yeah, and Caribbean reef squid are thick. Like people think they're cuttlefish, but there are no cuttlefish in this part of the world. But and it was hanging its arms down, so it's like its body and then its arms hanging down. So yeah, it looked weird, and it was swimming both directions, like just depending on where it was going. Because squid can do that.
Yeah, when I swam up at it, it put its arms up. So it was like its body, and then it like put its arms up like
whoa,
like stop. It was kind of cool.
But the squid like hung out at this. It just wanted to be at this one spot. I went over there, I go down underwater. I was trying to be slow and stuff, but it would get like a little skittish and it would swim away. But then it would go maybe 30, 40 yards away, and then it would just come back. So I kept just kind of easing my way up to it, and it just got more and more comfortable with me to where at one point it let me get down about probably a couple feet away from it with my GoPro and just like sit there for a few seconds. And then I put my GoPro down and it came over and like hung out in front of it and stuff, but it was there. And then we went out and we ate lunch. And then I put my weight belt on. I'm like, okay, we're going back in. I'm going to put my weight belt on so I can like get to the bottom and just stay there instead of having to kick. And it was still there. It was still there. It wasn't as interested in hanging out.
It's also a little cloudier at that time.
Yeah, I think there had been more people. It didn't really want to hang out as much. Like,
yeah,
it was squid are intelligent. So it was like real curious, I think, about me and about the GoPro. It's really cool when you have an experience like that with a wild animal that's kind of like you almost feel like they're as interested in you as you are in them. Like that's a really cool kind of experience to have with wildlife. And that's kind of what I felt like we had with the squid. It was really neat.
Yeah. So before we read Stacy's comment, there's another creature that we saw that we haven't talked about. It was a quick encounter, but it was cool.
What's that? Oh, a little blue crab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Now, Stacy, I'm glad you're bringing that up.
You don't want to talk about it?
Oh,
you're just going to say the blue crab?
Oh, well, what? Oh, you want to talk about the blue crab?
I mean, it was really cool. It came out from like a little thing, like with its arms out, pinching
claws, yeah.
Those
call them pinchers. It's all right.
Moving sideways, and Matt went down, and as he got closer to it, it just kind of stopped for a minute, and then real fast it buried itself under the sand.
Yeah, the crab had attitude. It had crabitude.
It like came out
it was like just walking down the sand, like come at me, like didn't even see us. And then I swam down and like swam kind of next to it, not too close to it. I was trying to give it some space. But then all of a sudden it stopped. It's like it saw me, it stopped, and it was just like, boom. It just vanished in the sand. I got it on camera, and I filmed it
so
at high
funny,
frame rate. So I'm going to see what I can do with it in slow motion.
The way that it came out from behind that little area, wherever it came from, it was just like it was tall and big, well, as big as it could make itself. Like it was hilarious.
It was very what you would expect of a crab. But
okay, now you can talk about Stacy's comment.
Okay. So yeah, Stacy, I watched some videos before we went this time, and I may have seen the same videos that you saw where they walked way down the beach, and there's like an area where you can go out and it's rocky, and I think there's more structure there. We thought about doing that. We didn't for a couple of reasons. One, it was pretty windy, and there was a little bit of current, like when we got just a little bit towards that area, and they were talking about the current, and I just felt like there was probably a lot of current there. Two, I don't think you're supposed to do that, and so I didn't really want to get in trouble for it, although it's a pretty long walk. I don't know that anybody would have said anything. I guess they didn't say anything to these people. But the main reason that we didn't go down there is because it looked like there was more structure and stuff, but in their videos that I saw, they didn't see anything that I didn't see right by the ship. So I was like, why walk half a mile when all that stuff's right here? So if we hadn't seen the squid and some of that other stuff right away, I think we probably would have wandered down there to check it out. But I was just content and happy to go where we did. But I am curious if if I could talk to people that have done that to see, what's really down there. Maybe someday I will go down there and check that out and see what it's all about. I know that, well, I don't know this, but I think that that's kind of the area where the snorkel boat might go out, maybe even a little further. I don't know. It's funny because, I look at reviews and people bash Half Moon Cay as like a place that like the snorkeling's horrible, snorkeling sucks. And I'm just like, then you missed it because there's stuff there. And so I think it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for this big, majestic coral reef, yeah, you're not going to find it. But if you're looking for creatures, I think there's a lot there.
Reno, come here.
I think there is.
Make him stop. Hey, put your foot at him. Make him stop.
Licking his arm?
Yes, he's like attacking it.
Yeah, I also wonder, Mike, what the snorkeling is like where the jet skis are. So if you look at a map of Half Moon Cay, there's like a little lagoon area there and stuff. So I don't know. I do know that, see you, Meg. I do know that some of that area is like bird sanctuary and protected. So I would be a little leery about just going anywhere there to snorkel. But if they're jet skiing, then snorkeling is probably not going to hurt anything. Although they may or may not allow you to. Like if I was snorkeling around where jet skis are, I would want a dive flag, and because I don't want to get hit by a jet ski. But it would be interesting to see what's on the backside of that. There might be some interesting stuff on the backside of that.
Why are you eating your leg?
Oh, and hey, since we're doing this, when we came back from the port, we were planning on stopping at this new place that just opened up called Iguana Land, which is in Punta Gorda, which is around Fort Myers, a little off of 75 south or north, I guess, just off of 75. We went a different way than we normally would have gone to get there because that's how Google had us go. And we passed a place called Gatorama, which I've heard of but never been to. So we actually went to both of those places. We didn't vlog at them, but Gatorama was okay. Honestly, if you want an alligator experience, go to Gatorland or St. Augustine Alligator Farm. It's small. It's kind of cool. It's very old school Florida, like very roadside attraction Florida. It wasn't a bad place. It looked like they were taking good care of their animals. They are a legitimate gator farm, so they are killing the alligators and making products from them, which I don't necessarily have a problem with if it's done sustainably, which that is one of the ways that alligators were saved. But they had some weird stuff going on there with some of their animals that I don't know what the situation was there. Anyway, it was okay. I wouldn't really recommend it. If you're driving by and you want to spend $20 for about 40 minutes of time, it might be worthwhile if you really want to see some alligators and crocodiles. They had a lot of American crocodiles, and a lot of American alligators, and they had a few other species. So it was okay. But Iguana Land is really cool. And so we went there, and they're in their soft opening phase. They don't have any alligators or crocodilians, but they have a lot of different lizards and turtles and tortoises and a few snakes. And it's a brand new place that's owned by this guy named Ty Parks, who's a really well-known reptile breeder, especially of like hard to breed lizards. And so he's got some really cool stuff. Now, I would say for the average person, it may not be super exciting because they're probably going to be like, there's another iguana. These are not green iguanas, by the way. These are like churro or spiny tail iguana. There are a bunch of different species, and so a lot of the lizards he has are from the different Caribbean islands and stuff. So for us, it's like really cool. And they do have a lot of other cool stuff. Like it's $25 a person for this place. I think that is if you're just want to see a lot of cool looking different turtles and lizards and a few snakes, this is really cool stop. And he does a lot of conservation work, so it's definitely something I would highly recommend if you like reptiles. But just know that what it is mostly it's very specific to a certain demographic, I guess. But they have some cool stuff there. And right now, since it's a soft opening, like we got there and it was cold and they're like, I don't know if you want to come in because a lot of the animals aren't out and stuff. And we were like, no, we've been looking at this place for a while. We definitely want to go in. And when we went around the first time, a lot of things were hiding, but we stayed and it got warmer and they started putting some of their animals out that they had put in for the cold weather, and other ones were coming out. And there are some really cool animals there. Like there's a monitor from Australia called a Parenti monitor. Parenti monitor.
That's how they said it.
I don't know how to say it. Anyway, it's like an Aboriginal word or something. But anyway, this monitor has like always been on my bucket list of species of lizards to see. And the only place you could see one in the United States was Dallas Fort Worth Zoo. And they bred theirs, and Ty Parks has 2 of their offspring. And that's it. You can't see them anywhere else in the United States. And they are really cool looking lizards. But we're hanging out there. Like we were there for a long time. We're talking to one of the keepers and stuff. And then Kimbra, they have this big Aldabra tortoise, which is like...
Well, they also, let's back up a little bit. They have a Galapagos tortoise that's like 2 years old.
Yes, which is like this big.
Yeah. I mean, big for a 2-year-old, but it was really cute for Galapagos.
Are the biggest tortoise.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then, of course, we're walking around, and then they have, another big tortoise. And I don't know the difference between the two yet.
It's subtle differences.
It's very, very slight. I think we asked,
especially at that age.
We've asked multiple people. I think when we were at St. Louis Zoo, we asked the difference, and they couldn't really tell us much difference. So somebody can tell a difference.
There's some subtle differences in the shell shape and stuff like that. But it's one of those things, if you don't look at both species enough, they're very hard to tell apart.
Yeah. So you can continue your story.
So this is a 30-year-old Aldabra tortoise, which is the second largest tortoise in the world, almost the same size. Aldabra Islands are off the coast of Africa, by the way, like the Galapagos are off the coast of South America. So just a similar evolution there. But they get huge. This one's like big. It's like pretty big, like this tall. And it sees us, right? So it's like in this huge yard. It's like a little fence thing about maybe this tall, maybe 2-3 feet tall, not 3 feet tall, maybe 2 feet tall, probably a couple feet tall.
Yeah.
Anyway, this tortoise sees us like across the yard, and keep in mind, we're about the only ones at this place, and just like picks itself up and just slowly starts lumbering over.
I mean, like for a tortoise, this thing was running.
Yes, it beeline straight for us. Stops. Of course, we didn't have any food. We could have touched it, but we didn't feel like we were supposed to, and so we didn't. And but it was just like this tortoise is definitely like came over to us. Like this is a friendly tortoise. So we're talking to the guy a little bit later on, and I think Kimbra was like, glowing over the tortoises. And the guy's like, you want to go meet her? And of course, Kimbra's like, yes. So he let us go. This is normally something you could pay extra to do, but he's like, since we're just opening up, we're trying to give everybody like really cool. We got all the attitude of gratitude stuff on this trip. So we just step on into the enclosure with this big tortoise, and he gives us some cactus to feed it, and it comes right over.
It's got a real cute tongue.
And so this happens. So there you can see how big this tortoise is. This is a 30-year-old Aldabra tortoise. It's going to get probably 2 to 3 times that size.
Yeah, her name is Allie.
And there was another one named Deborah.
Yeah, but Deborah's gone.
Yeah, but is Aldabra?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it loved having its its neck scritched.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because he gave her a cactus, and then I gave her a cactus, and then Matt gave her a cactus, and then the cactus was gone, and we stood up, and she just started like walking at me, and I'm like, I don't have anything more for you. And I asked the guy, I said, can I pet her, or can I think I said touch, because pet is like a word
That's only in AZA
I know, but
places.
that's just the way I
Normal
talk
people
now.
can just say pet.
Yeah. So, and he said, yeah, absolutely. And he was like, getting in the neck and the like love scratches. And I'm like, okay.
Good night, Todd. Yeah, I mean, and so it was cool though, because the guy was telling us that they call this behavior finching,
Mm-hmm.
and it's named from the Galapagos tortoises, because in the Galapagos, the tortoises, they think what they do when you like are doing that is they'll stick their head out like this, and they want you to scratch them and stuff. But in the Galapagos, there are finches. Of course, they're Galapagos famous for its finches because of Darwin's work and stuff. And they will come and they will pick like parasites and stuff off of them. So they call it finching because they'll stick out like that to do that.
And they just stay real still because they'll do that.
So that's what they do. So because it was like, yeah, it kept like it was going to walk over you, and then you started scratching it, and it was just like instant, like, yeah, it was very cute.
It was an awesome experience.
It was really cool. So here's what I would say. If you're ever driving down 75 near Fort Myers and you've got a couple hours to kill, go to Iguana Land. You will not be sorry. If we're around, we'll probably go with you. So
we're planning to get a membership pass when they have it available.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to do that. So anyway, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I think it's bedtime.
Yeah, we should probably hang it up. So, but listen, guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for waiting for us to come out with this podcast until Monday night. We know it took us a little bit longer, but we were cruising and stuff. But we're glad we got to do it tonight and just kind of regurgitate all of this stuff that we did and the fun we had, and got to connect with everybody again. Lots of fun.
Yep.
And we will see you guys hopefully at the end of this week. Maybe we'll get to do our podcast on Friday as per usual. We'll find out. I don't think anything will stop us from that. We're going to the Ren Fair this weekend, but other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. So yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Good night. Good night, Kevin. Good night, everybody. Good night, Stacy and Dan. Everybody is still there. See you next time.